So today we're going to be doing form, and I'll probably extend this. I'll probably work on form another week because I had stuff going on last week. It's really busy, so I didn't have much time to draw. But oh. So yeah, I'm just gonna start practicing form. And so yeah, cool beans. So it's good to always start off with some simple stuff and then work your way complexity wise up. Transition to sitting down for a while until I start feeling lazy. And stupid dogs. Oh my gosh, they can go die. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to be doing basic forms and stuff, and creating randos. Oh, this is out of. Put that back. There we go. Let's see. Alright. So we're just gonna draw some basic stuff after we get some thing here. Okay, now enough boring, just nothing happening. Let's actually do something. In a minute. Oh my gosh. What I like to do is, since or as you can tell, I have classical royalty-free, whatever, classical music in the background. But I don't actually listen to that while I'm drawing. I usually listen to either other types of music or other videos like art talks and stuff while I draw, because I don't think I'm allowed to play those on here as I draw. and I also don't have the software to do that. I don't really want to spend the money for it just yet anyway, if we're even allowed. So just, yeah, I'm not listening to the classical music, but it's there basically for you, and I'm listening to other stuff. And I can't show that, otherwise I would share it with you. Alright. Just going to start off some basic forms. I'm going to try and freehand it all too. Cone. Cone head. Stupid. Whoops. Go. Let's do pyramid. Or a triangle wedge. Interesting triangle, bro. Now make me a sandwich. I'm so funny. Oh my gosh. Cubes take the most time to draw because they have the most edges. They take the most time technically, but I feel like they're the easiest for your brain to comprehend. They just take time to do because the execution itself takes a long time. Let us see. Pyramid. We're going to do a warped pyramid. Actually, that'll look weird, so let's not do that. I want to do a pyramid where you can see all four corners, assuming it's wider frame, and also all four corners. There's a shallow pyramid. There's the more interesting one where you can see a little bit clearer what thing. It looks a little lopsided because I didn't this one here because I didn't do that measuring thing where you find the center and point it out. That's okay. I'm not trying to be super precise, or I'm not anyway. Alright, let's do a couple more cones. I like doing cones, they're fun. So if this was a shallow cone, you would only see like that. I'll put some form lines around it to really emphasize that. It's kind of hard. It's really bad, but it's okay. For this one, cut it in half. Almost. There we go. Not bad. Really shallow work stuff, but we're gonna move on. So, I had an idea, kind of like a mini challenge, or a challenge, which it would be a challenge. A challenge for me. I'm gonna do 3 characters. I'm gonna look at 3, basically kind of a character design, but a form, if that makes sense. Where I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna look at reference, play with something. Oh hey, how's it going? Chillax, boy. You play around with 3 different types of characters. I'll play around with their forms and kind of design a form, I suppose, or see what I like, and then mess around with that. So let's find some. One of the ideas I had was kind of like a beetle slash like crab kind of dude, just to kind of. Yes, I did shaved. It makes me look like a child again. Especially with this long hair. If you saw me like this, I'd look like a girl. So, alright. Beetles. So I'm gonna draw some beetle, or get an idea of form of beetles. Let's do a couple of them. Not that one. This is cool. Do that one. Maybe something like that one should be pretty cool. I'll do a couple of beetles. Maybe like a crab. And also, I want it to be a humanoid type character. So, I'll look for some cool kind of poses for him. Sure, let's go with this one. This person is married, they have a ring. Like Titan armor. Might be interesting. Look. Yeah, look at that Skyrim. I like those shoulder pads. That's a pretty cool one. So we'll use these images to get a basic idea. So we'll start with just studying the form of the beetle. A little bit there. No. There we go. Alright. Just gonna study the form of this guy. So to me it looks like there is kind of 3 of them. There's the big abdomen body area, which is like a big sphere. And you got a head which connects out there someplace. Now we're just going to do a box with this, and then we'll carve into the box more detail. It kind of goes at an angle. Carve a simple shape of form, kind of like that. And if we understand and draw through it, we can get the other side. We're just going to connect to there, be like that. Something. Should really do this to help you understand form and all of its 3D-ness. It's kind of messy, but you can still get it. So next we have like the head, which is kind of looking at it. It's like, I would say it's more of a box kind of shape. I don't really know what that bottom part is. It's kind of unclear what that is. That's okay. So let's do another box here. Oops. And this box tapers as well, so I should add that in. Something like that. And if I was really going into studying beetles, I'd get multiple different images of different views of the same beetle, so I could really understand what it is. I'm just kind of getting a really basic idea for now, because we got 3 characters to go through today, so can't spend all time on this. There's a separation here. It looks like this box kind of actually goes out a little more. We're just going to add on some form. Let's go ahead and carve this box out a little more. So there's like a center horn and then 2 side ones. So I'm just going to carve out of this. Now that I look at this, this looks really long. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm being really messy here. You can always finalize it later. I'm just trying to understand and be quick about this. And yes, it still looks really long, so I'm going to grab this and pull it down. About there for now. And the front of the face, it's got like this little chitiny area that's all one piece of that. But this is also distinct here. It has a very distinct edge, and then it like goes down and around. So if we were to kind of make this a little bit clearer, you can really see the form in it. So this, we draw some lines that will show its form. This goes around, goes back down, and then out. It's like it's kind of it's the same piece, but just in an interesting form. I don't know much about beetles. Me either, that's why I'm drawing. Thanks. We got this thing, this box in the front, which is a horn somewhere in the middle. We'll just throw in a cylinder, do the spout in line with that. It's got its own kind of angle. And also, there's kind of a mass around this. So I'm going to carve out and down in the box. Nice analysis. Thank you. I try. It's not the best analysis by any standard, but just good practice to look at stuff and try to see what kind of forms are there. So it looks like it's a bigger. We can either do that as an organic mass or cylinder. Well, I'm going to do a cylinder. So it's got a really short, fat, tapered cylinder. It's like about there. So this is going to go down like that. And the rest kind of just piece here that kind of cuts into this. I'm just going to hold this down. It feels a little too long, so I'll shorten it. My streams are kind of, they're a little, what's the word, unpredictable, because I don't really have a set schedule. What I'm trying to set up though is basically, every Saturday, sometime in the mornings, usually around, let's see, when did it start? What, 9:30? So it's usually around, what I'm planning to do anyway is probably around 7 or 8 in the morning, and just gonna have about a, I don't know, 1 or 2 hour stream, maybe longer depending on what we're practicing at the time. So it's right now I'm still kind of trying to find a time that works. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because you can see how there's a lot of little minute, like little variances and stuff. I'm just going to get the basic form. I don't really care about the details right now. So I'm just trying to get an idea of what this middle is. It's a very thin box. Like that. That should work for the kite and stuff. I don't really know what else is under all that stuff. We'll just kind of throw an organic mass in here just because it's kind of unknown. So like that. We got the wings. Just another chitinous mass, which follow the form conveniently. We got legs, different spots. That's about 3 legs. There, one here, one up there. It's a really odd place for a leg. I mean, it's not an odd place, it's an odd type of leg. It's kind of just this weird little, give you the gesture line. With interesting little horns that peel off. Just being quick about it. This has like a nice little joint in it. Yeah, it's hard to really be deliberate and set up a good schedule, but once you can, it's really, having a solid schedule is really effective. I'm trying to do it. I'm getting things pretty close. I have my Saturdays usually pretty determined at this point, so that's good. But yeah, I'm glad you can make it to the stream. It's nice having somebody instead of just talking to an empty camera. Anyway, so that's the basic messy form of the beetle there. It's a little bit refined of this beetle. So I feel like I have an okay understanding of that. Let's move this off to the side and start the next one. This one's really hard to see. Can I zoom in on this at all? Yeah. Glad I'm able to be a drawing pal. This beetle's quite similar. Obviously they're beetles, they're similar. This one's a little more deliberate. So we have three basic forms, and this looks like three kind of spherical shapes. So let's start with the butt. Or let's get a gesture line first so I kind of know what I'm going for. And the butt. And it has this form. The middle piece, abdomen, whatever. The head. Those sort of things. Another beetle, yeah. Yeah, I have finished all of Dropbox. The only thing I haven't done, what I've been slowly chipping away at, is the treasure chest challenge, the 100 treasure chest challenge. It just takes forever, and it's really... I've been chipping away at it slowly. I'm about 25% of the way there. Over like 1 year, but I haven't been like doing it consistently. Let's see, so we got this beetle, the arms are in here someplace. Just gonna go out like so. Cylinders and stuff. Arms very cylindrical. Got another one up there, so like that. So that's kind of the basic form of the beetle. You got like a chitin plate on the head, which we can do as a box. The little, where are the eyes? I can't really tell on this. It looks like they're on the front, but I'm not sure. Let's leave it. Let's get another beetle dude. It's a quick form. Which is all now let's look at a crab. You can smell seafood just by looking at this crab. So the crab is an interesting form. A lot of legs. Little pinchers. Oh gosh, the texture is really difficult. Especially when you're starting out. I think the best way I've found, which doesn't always work, but is like you look at the overall texture and you look at the big shapes, then you kind of whittle it down into smaller shapes and stuff. It's really similar to form. You look at the big form and then you look at smaller forms on top of those forms. Yeah, what level are you at right now? And you'll get there eventually. I'm not that far on my journey. Got this crabby boy. So I'm going to just draw its body as kind of like a disc. And we're just going to omit those curves for now. So it's a big old disc like that. Which has, it's a disc and it's like it's got this and it's also got some form on the bottom. That's what I'm trying to do. And it also does have a little bit of a curve on the top. So it's kind of like an M&M, but I'm just drawing it as just that bottom one for now. So you'll only see a little bit. The dissections. Yeah, those are those organic forms, I think, right? Those are kind of, it can be fun to do once you understand it, but at first it's really hard. At least it was for me. So this crab's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 legs, 2 arms. They're all really close to each other. Okay. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then some arms. And these little crabby legs have kind of like a up and then down kind of flow. A bit down and then around. So it's like a down, up, down. Almost like a spider. Creepy. And the back legs have an interesting method of going with that kind of. So they're cylinders with a bulge in the middle. And they have another piece on the end. And a long finger point. R do be looking like a spider. Or I, not R. This is very long. This one's got an interesting, like, interlocking kind of form. The legs get a little smaller. The backs get, or those first pieces get a little longer too. That's interesting. Thanks, Kaylin Rye. Spider. Pinnacle thingy bob. Pinnacle. It's not pinnacle. I see why this leg's too wrong. Wrong spots. That's too close. What's up, Gustavo? The nieces. Yo. Now let's get these crabby arms. Mr. Krabs. These have a very interesting kind of. In their clothes, they're cylindrical. But I'm going to look at it as 3 individual pieces. Kind of has this big piece, and then they're kind of divided into 2 down the middle. There's 2 pincers, which can be seen as cones. or kind of flat cones in the sense of like a box cone, so it's like that kind of cone versus that kind of cone. I'm using digital because it's harder to show this setup. Like it's harder to draw on paper and live stream, for at least what my setup is. I could do it paperly, and also I'm not really going to Dropbox right now. I've already finished Dropbox. I did all that on paper, and I just kind of transitioned into digital just because it's easier to manipulate stuff, and I think it's a little easier to kind of correct your mistakes and try again versus on paper. I mean, I enjoy paper more, but it's digital. It just has more convenience. It's by no means necessary or anything. I absolutely could draw with paper. It just makes it a little easier for streaming and stuff. So that's why I do it. Consider this a little small. So I'm going to erase it and drop it. Too large. There we go. There's our basic form of the crab. I'm not going to go into more detail because that's not my goal right now. I'm going to just try to understand the form so I can try to create a kind of chitinous humanoid character form, that is. So I'm just practicing form this week right now. Fundamentals. Now we can carve into this and get that back kind of shape of the crabby boy. Craboid? A craboid. We want to go into more detail. This is kind of shape is beveling out so you don't see as much in the back. It's very disc-like. You could probably play frisbee with one of their shells. You're flirting with the idea of learning art. Yeah, art's, I mean, it's a difficult path from what I've seen so far, and it's really cool to be able to express yourself and create and stuff. We want to record the whole Dropbox process. Really, I thought there was at least I think what Rebecca draws or something, if I remember her name. I thought she did it all, but I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully I can help anyone who needs it. I saw kind of I just wanted to share my own process with Dropbox and grow an audience for my future as an artist. But yeah, Dropbox is a really good place to start for learning form and perspective, and those are really fundamental things about drawing. So yeah, they're good exercises. They're difficult, but they learn and teach you a lot. Especially the 250 box challenge, that really made a perspective intuitive for drawing really simple forms. It's really, really useful and really painful. Anyway, so there's our basic crab. Our basic boy. It's the eyes. We need to give him eyes, otherwise he can't see, and that's just cruel. It's cute little eyeballs. How could you not find this guy cute? He has weird little mandible things. Anyways, there's our crab, as I've said for the millionth time. So let's move on to the next dude. So one of these, so my basic idea is to draw the form of a basic humanoid character with chitinous, either armor or like it's basically like a crab dude. I don't know. We'll see what we'll do some designs here. Are you asking me or Gustavo? On major in art or is drawing just a side hobby, to be specific. There's some basic crabs or basic chitinous characters. Yeah, that's an interesting phrase, chitinous characters. And we're going to converge those. And we're going to look at this armor here. This is invisible for now. Just good. Okay. So you have your breastplate kind of thing. So if you got your basic dude form of your torso, which is you got your rib cage, just kind of good form, basic idea. Your shoulders and stuff. Torso, all this. So if you were to put so am I a major in art or drawing just a side hobby? I would like to have a job in art someday. I mean, that's basically my goal is to be an artist. It started out as a hobby, of course, as I think most stuff does. But when I decided I wanted to be an artist, that's when I decided to start pursuing art, and I've been getting better at pursuing it because the past about 3 years, I think 3 years, is when I decided to seriously start pursuing it. Is when I wanted to be an artist, so it's not just a hobby anymore for me. It's something that I'm actively pursuing and trying to get better at, so I can be an artist for my career. I still have a lot to go. I don't have like anything, any solid skills, which is why I'm really cracking down on the fundamentals so I can actually get good. But what I work as is just a construction laborer / like carpenter's apprentice, and I do this on my weekends, trying to get better so I can slowly transition up. You're a developer and stuff, and looking for a new side grant. Learning Japanese. It's interesting. What kind of developer are you? Developer. I went to school myself for web design and development for 2 years. Learned that I didn't like it. Got an associate's degree in it. Sorry, so we got this. I think is from Skyrim, but this is an interesting like chitin type armor. Because if you got your sternum there, your gauge around. So this it starts about a little bit below your collar line. It goes around the sides. Has this interesting shape. It's like it doesn't cover you fully, it just hits your chest area. Just your interesting shape. chitinous armor has kind of like this cool like plating type thing, where it's like, I mean, obviously armor has plating, but chitin has like an interesting overlapping plates kind of feature, which, I mean, again, armor already has that type of stuff. Back end dev, huh? Yeah, it's really a lot of technical stuff. I wonder if because you're into like really like programming's very technical. I wonder if you're like into if you'd like more technical art versus like more organic, as in like if you really detailed crazy stuff versus like I myself like drawing more organically, which is basically this, where you're just kind of, you're not like really measuring stuff, but like technical's a lot more measuring. You know, it's just a thought. The information secured. So this thing. It has like a second plate that's still part of the same plate. This. What can I do? Alright, and we got interesting shoulder pads. Blade, not blades, shoulder pads, which is just big, like kind of, how do I draw this? It's like a big kind of, what even is that called, kind of shape? Tapered box? I don't know. It's that's like a very interesting shape that I don't know how to explain. I don't know what kind of shape would be called. Yeah, that's why I started doing stuff on YouTube, is because I wanted to build an audience. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think everybody starts out that way. So it's been working so far, so that's cool. We got interesting little, what are those, like hip guards? I'm not sure what those would be called, but yeah, hip armor, super hip and in style. You know, lame puns for days. Interesting shapes. We're just gonna. I don't need to go into unnecessary detail right now. Just get the form that we can carve into it later. Belt buckle. The rest of the clothing isn't so important. It's just more like it's accommodating things. It's interesting type of armor there. Let's see, check this. Now, let's go to the crazy one. This guy. something 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 season 2. Selder? Where is it? Yes. This guy's got interesting armor. Just gonna focus more on the shape specific on this guy, because there's a lot of detail that I can get sucked into that I'm not, which isn't necessary to learn kind of that cool form. I like that helmet style. I might dive into more detail on this helmet. So I like that cool pose, you know, head and all that good stuff. Shoulders, torso, chest. Do I stream on Twitch? No, I thought about it, but I just haven't really looked into it a whole lot. And I feel like, I mean, YouTube, I don't really have that much of a following or anything. So I just been using YouTube. How can you sketch so fast? Because I've practiced form a lot and a lot of gestures, so it's intuitive for me because of just what I've practiced. So if you could absolutely do this just as fast, if not faster than me, if you practice, if you understand form and gesture, then you can really kind of get it pretty quick. You can sketch pretty quickly, especially if you have reference. That's really important. This guy. So focusing mainly on his armor. His breastplate is pretty cool. It's got like a chin guard, so if something were to slide up, it catches him. Like his blade or something. There's a lot of clothing in the way, so things we're gonna have to kind of invent some stuff. It's okay. Too much wax on, wax off, and draw box. Indeed. Shoulder pads are pretty crazy and detailed, so I'm just going to draw a quick shape there. I don't want to mess up, or I don't want to mess with that much detail right now. It's just going to be a box, a wedge of sorts. Then it has another interesting shape on top of it, just like that. Easy, one and done. No detail necessary because I'm not practicing for it right now. Let's fix that. It's not right. Oops. Yeah, something like that. The other shoulder. Classic music slaps hard. Yeah. Let's bring this chest thing up a little bit. Actually, we're going to erase that. We're not going to move it. I feel like it needs to be changed a little better anyway. Something like that. This one come in here. Somewhat like that. There's a bunch of other interesting little pieces of armor. So in the context of say I do want to draw a chitinous dude who isn't, it's not armor, but it's actually part of him. Looking at the crabs, Mr. Crabs here, we can see that their chitin plates interlock very closely, versus on this guy, his armor does not interlock, it's separate pieces. Which, I mean, it is also separate pieces in the crab, but they are much more like a part of it, I mean, which makes sense because crabs don't wear armor, it's permanent for them. Versus this guy, he puts it on when he goes into battle and stuff. I do live streams on finished paintings and sketch the final. Are you asking me if I have, or if I watched any? Alright, so this crab, I'm going to try to go something more like this. My character who has his forms are much more connected and close, and they're not like armor-esque. They're more of permanent. More of a permanent thing. I don't know what. How do you call in your streams? What happened to the beetle? What do you mean? The beetle? Oh, the beetle's over here. I'm just doing a separate. I've been looking at several things because my plan is to try to create a kind of chitinous character. I have not done a drawing or whatever they're called, a live stream to finish painting thing, because I haven't done any paintings that are, well, I've done a couple of like things, but they're not like, you know, they're very amateurish. But I mean yeah, I'm my goal right now is to do live streams of about every Saturday, probably, of practicing what I'm currently practicing. So right now I'm doing form, and if, say, I'm on to doing sometime in the future, hopefully soon, if I'm practicing, say, color and light, I'll probably be painting something, and it won't necessarily be like a painting per se. I may do that. I think you were the one who, let's see here. Yeah, you're the one who commented about doing like bigger kind of projects. I mean, I would like to, if I like, I'm kind of doing one of those right now, sort of, and I'm trying to design a character. And so it's more of a challenge for me to do this. So it is a challenge in a sense of my current skills level, but I am challenging myself right now. So looking back on, got this dude here, got that. Let's make these kind of similar in size. Those are my quick studies, which I should probably do more. You're doing anatomy, chillax, boy. What are you practicing? Like doing arms or something else? Yeah, being able to see your progress in five years ago is really inspiring to yourself, because it's like, oh wow, look how far I've come. It's so inspiring. Okay, so as for poses, let's look at some, I don't know, monster poses or some crazy poses. How's that? Yeah, like something like this is a little too crazy, but just to kind of get an idea of what I'm going for. What the frickin' heck is this? Ugh! What on earth? Anyway, this is a little too crazy. Something probably closer to like, I don't know, like, let's try to invent some here. So I'm looking for more of a, like, kind of a soldier-esque vibe, which is what this pose kind of already is. But I want to do something a little more, with a little more like energy maybe, so it's like it's similar to that, in that you got this dude here, right, with his cool armor and stuff, and it's just with that sick pose, he's just standing there looking all cool with his sword, right, with his extremely long arms. So that's a pretty passive pose in the sense of like little energy. And then, yeah, stoic pose. That's a good way to explain it or describe it. That's what I'm saying. So something a little more energy. He's kind of hunched over, maybe. His shoulders back, and like he's kind of like a bear type of thing, where he's getting ready for a good old swing. Doesn't seem quite right. That's exactly why we're doing this, to get the feel for things. With his tiny little arms. Let's look for crouching pose. Something more like this-ish. Whoever this game character is. It's got a very nice flow down the leg and the arm. You can see now, so it's like that. Shoulders, the leg. I mean, that seems like too much energy now. How about if you find something I like? A bear on its haunches. Standing. Standing. If I could type. Like, a kind of, you can just see how it has a mass and weight to it, which is kind of what I think I want. Versus a more serious pose, which is kind of like a, he's ready. Versus this is kind of like a intimidating, I would say. So he's got like his, here we go. Look at this guy, grizzly bear. Something like that. I like that. It's more of what I'm going for anyway. Well, this looks like he wants a hug. Like they're a little short, but they also have short legs because they're designed to run on 4 legs. So in the context of a humanoid character. So let's go ahead and save this pose. There. I like that one. Let's go back to that crouching one. That one was pretty decent. Maybe something a little weirder like that. I don't know. T-pose bear. There you go. So I like those ones. They have like a kind of, that one's like a little more athletic, like gymnastic-y, kind of like an agile warrior kind of thing. Versus this is more of a intimidating, stronger kind of gesture. And that's just more chill. Like stoic, as I said. So, I think I'm wanting something more kind of like a mix of these two, where it's like a strong but reserved kind of feel. So it's like you have that kind of upright feel. Maybe his arms are a little more like the bear. And his legs can be a little more hunched. Legs look a little shorty and his arms are a little high. least that one was. So that has a little too much, I feel. Maybe a little less energy. Bring that leg in a little bit. And that one. Sketchy and bad, you got cleaner lines. Maybe not so much of an arch. Maybe something more closer to this. More of a straighter line. Shoulders down, let's try that. A bit of a wider stance, not quite as wide as that, but wider than. Liking that a little more. Let's flip the canvas around so I can see what the problems are. It looks a little kind of like bow-legged for some reason. Let's change the legs, this leg at least. Make sure he has balance. Something like that. I feel like that's a little more. Move his arms out a little bit more. Maybe a bigger chest, bigger puffed out chest. Kind of deal like that. I'm liking that pose a little better. His leg looks a little whack. Let me bring the head forward a little bit. I'm liking that a little better. Something feels wrong with that left arm. So I got my pose down of what I want to do. So let's kind of design how his armor is going to look, or what he's going to look like. Based on this stuff. And this guy, the crab, Mr. Krabs here. Taking into consideration all of the beetle type stuff and the beetle type arm, like chitin exoskeleton, and the crab, and also actual armors. I want to create somebody, or a humanoid, basically kind of crab dude that just in the aspect of those joints having chitin armor. That is permanent. So if we have a dude here, basically T-posing, draw the legs or the limbs at a little different angles just to get a better idea of how that's going to conform to its shape. I'm going to stop this live stream at 12 o'clock. So we got about 45 minutes. So we have the basic form and shape, kind of what I might do. Humanoid dude's gonna look, so I can add in more details of. I'm gonna try 3 different ideas. So I'll duplicate this dude 3 different times and put 3 different styles of something on him. Alright, Chevy, NXU, thanks for hanging out. Nice to have somebody to talk to. Okay, so I'm going to do one that's really similar to crab first. So if we look at the crab, you can see how it has very individualized chunks of chitin. So like the joints themselves have really interesting points. Since your arm kind of has three separate regions, you got that elbow, three main kind of ideas. So this one a new layer. You got the elbow, the forearm, and the bicep, plus the hand and all that other stuff, and the shoulder. So it's like 5 forms. So the arm is going to have something very similar. That'll be very chitinous. And I want the shoulder to have its own kind of thing. So just the bicep itself, kind of this. How does it bend? It bends like that, so it needs to be at the top. Be indented like that. You have the elbow piece, which is going to be like those connecting little regions like in here. You see it's just kind of like white stuff. I want this to overlap. Oops, too much. So it needs to come out more. So that the forearm piece can go in there. Have its own kind of shape as well. Same with the joint for the wrist. It's going to have its little kind of separated piece. And the palm of the hand. I won't go into too much detail on the fingers and stuff because I'm not very good at that, and I'm not studying that. Well, I need to study it, so probably will. There's 3 main sections here. So there's the thumb piece, and kind of that top piece. So it'll be like kind of 3 main chitin pieces that kind of interweave. Interesting fingers. So the shoulder would be kind of a, and also taking inspiration from this guy. Might have some cool ornamentals type stuff. It's not necessarily functional. I do kind of like that shape, but I like how this is more protective style of stuff. And of course, taking into consideration how anatomy is, it should follow that pretty similarly. So the shoulder blades are going to start, not blade, shoulder pads, and start around there. So that's where your deltoid starts. Maybe it'll overextend itself a little more so you have more protection. Jagged, sharp corners, that's cool. Maybe the heads, these are 3 deltoid heads. Maybe the heads will have their own kind of like sharp point. That'd be kind of cool. So you only see 2. The back one's back there more. Move the pecs. So the breastplate kind of deal. Which connects, let's see about it. This guy, it's kind of hard to see, probably around there-ish. Because you have to be able to bend over and stuff still. You need mobility. So we'll end it right there. And it'll have kind of an angle to help deflect blows. And I like that top idea where there's kind of this piece that stops anything from going into your neck. So perhaps I'll have something like the collarbone should have its own little thing. That'd be cool. And it'll kind of go over the shoulder blade. Why do I keep saying the shoulder pad? To kind of interweave more protection into stuff. This is kind of like this piece. It's just grown out because it's chitin. He's got like these kind of chitinous plates. Give it a bit of angle on the front so it's more beveled out like armor. Maybe they can attach into the anatomy of the serratus interiors. Kind of like be the obliques, they kind of meet. It's like an interesting meld of armor / anatomy. Let's get the knees next. These will have their own little kind of overlapping thing, filled with the bottom and the top. So it's a simple form for that particular idea. Could do an armored skirt kind of thing. We'll see that for another design. We'll just go for the crab like things. Those things just connected with interest. I think it's like one solid piece. This is going to need like some kind of spacing so that they can move and not armor plates will hit each other and restrict mobility. I don't know, something seems his legs seem huge. His torso not so much. Let's extend his pec width. Something like that. Let's flip this around. Okay, so this arm is freaking massive. Pull that in. I feel like his legs are a little large as well. Oh, into the neck. You need some type of like interesting chitin armor. The face features, but also like somewhat protected, like chitin type stuff. So it's still be a normal face, but like just hardened skin kind of. What would their hair look like? Would it be all scaly and weird? Like the Queen of Blades kind of thing? Just like spikes fall back down and around. Yeah. I am running out of time here. Make this next one quicker. So that's the more of the crab-like approach. This one's gonna be more of a like armory approach, where it's still connected to him, but it's more armory and he has less permanent type stuff, more eccentric like that, I guess. So breastplate. Shoulder pads. Let's go something more eccentric. I don't know how I feel about this. Shoulder or elbow pads. Ooh, I like that. Where it's got like kind of a talon-like feel. Let's kind of convert these to be more talon-like. More aggressive kind of armor. This will have more of a skirt type style of armor. What about have like kind of a skirted style all along the armor? Let's try that. Also along the legs too. Interesting. It's just like several layers of plates. Kind of looks like a mummy. This definitely feels more like armor-esque, whereas this guy most certainly feels less armor-esque and more like he's naked. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure. I got about 15 minutes. I'll have to finish this another time. The dogs are bothering me. So I feel like if I did go with this character design, that should be more of a, like he should have clothing. Because it feels like he's less, like it's more natural to him. And so it's basically like he's naked, so he'd wear clothes, but like he's just passively armored all the time. So that might be an interesting thing to go with. Versus this is like, it's much more heavily, like it's passive on him, but it's like heavy armor always. And so it just looks armored and like he's clothed, so it doesn't need to have clothes in that sense. And the last design I think I was going to do of like very modular armor. Like it looks like it's separate, but it isn't, maybe? Like maybe they look like normal people except like specific spots and like grow like chitinous thing. That's kind of like their distinctive aspect of these people, these creatures. It might be interesting to try. So like they're almost normal, except for like they have a couple spots or a few spots where they have really interesting stuff, like one shoulder pad, or yeah. And it's like really odd and strange shapes that like aren't necessarily super functional, but more kind of ornamental, and that they look. That's how they're distinguished, by their body features, interesting growths and stuff. Maybe they have like really less, like hard skin, but it's not like super thick. It's just like more of a hardened skin, so it's rough skin. It's hard to penetrate. This is kind of an interesting idea here. So maybe he's got a cool knee pad too, like super whack shape. Some of them look more aggressive than others, based on how their chitin plating grows. Interesting people. So these people would still wear clothing, just like these guys would. But they just like kind of leave a spot open for their cool armor. Or maybe if they have like an interesting, unique rib cage, they wouldn't wear a shirt, because that's how they show off their uniqueness. So maybe this guy also has an awesome rib cage that he just wants to show the world. Ooh. Looks like maybe he'd wear a half kind of skirt thing that would show off his, that would allow him to show off his cool little leg thing. Just an idea. So he'll have one leg in a shoe or whatever. Maybe like a half. No, why would he cover his arm? Because he's got that cool breastplate. Like growths of some kind. Really interesting idea. So I feel like this guy would totally be wearing some kind of shirt. Some pants. Have weird bulges in different spots, maybe cuts in the clothing because sharp, jagged clothing. Maybe they just cover their kind of, like just the loincloth, their more private areas, because they don't get cold maybe as much because they have thicker chitin skin plating stuff. Yeah, those are some interesting ideas. I want to explore this idea more. This idea just looks cool, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to use that. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And I will see you next Saturday, I hope. So, yeah. Cool beans. And, peace out.